Hello everyone, it's Vindoom, and welcome to this week's video where we will be painting this little thumbnail that I came up with while at work. I got really inspired and I went out and I took these reference pictures which I have printed out of some trees in my yard, which I will be using as reference for this painting. So let's see how I do at bringing my momentary inspiration to a full-sized painting. I'm using my usual Canson XL watercolor paper and starting off with this sketch. I work at a cafe, as I said before, and I was just working the register when I got hit with inspiration for this composition. Like, it just suddenly came to my mind and I had to get it on a piece of paper, so I grabbed one of the little tickets that we used to take orders and I drew this really quick, messy thumbnail for me to use when it was time to actually do a painting. And I thought that it would make a good video, show you guys that, you know, inspiration comes at all times and that everyone should be seizing it when it comes. So here I am working on this sketch, which was a bit of a mess, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm really disappointed with the fact that I didn't ever redraw this foot, and the angle is completely wrong. It usually is whenever I draw a foot in this angle, and I still didn't manage to fix it. And in general, I really messed with perspective for this one, and I don't think I did anything correctly. But that's fine. Here I am making many adjustments to the sketch. I did even more off camera, but it's fine. Here I am cutting out some of the washi tape. I decided I wanted a nice square background, as I usually do, but I wanted the character to pop out of it. This pretty grid washi tape that I got from Michael's. I don't know if I'll use it for this again because, as you will see later, I did experience some issues with it. I ended up using this nice cloudy grayish blue color for the background. I really like it. I think that it ended up giving it a nice cool mood. My primary inspiration for the inspiration of this is that the weather here in upstate New York is starting to cool down. It really feels like fall, and I really wanted to do a fall sort of a picture, even though it's not fall. Not yet. All the leaves are still very green, and the coldest it's really getting is like 65, which is not as cold as it's going to get when fall actually comes around, but it has a very fall feeling in the air right now. There you've got the pumpkin coffee at Dunkin', which I've been getting 3 or 4 times a week maybe. And so I am in that fall spirit. It's my favorite holiday, so I'm very excited for the vibes and the aesthetics that are coming up, and that really just inspired me to do this painting. So we've got this girl just sitting in a tree. At first the tree wasn't gonna have leaves, which is why there are none in this sketch, but at the end I end up adding them in. I think they turn out really cool. I didn't actually have a color scheme set for this, which is always a mistake. I should always have a color scheme. You should always have a color scheme. If you're doing a drawing with color, you should know the color scheme before you go in. But I didn't, and I think it turned out okay. I managed to stay within just a few colors, and so I think it turned out okay. It's not the best color scheme, and I did almost ruin it multiple times by thinking, yeah, I should add blue to this, but luckily I never added blue to this. Here is this insane green. when I painted this in real life, it does not look like this highlighter green color that it does on the camera, but you know, it's a look. Neon green is in. Here I am adding a green hat right there. I mixed that green first and I just sat there for like a straight 5 minutes trying to decide whether the shoes or the hat should be that color. I like that I ended up putting on the hat. It looks nice next to this pink hair that I'm realizing now looks like Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time, which wasn't any of my intentions. This character is actually kind of vaguely based on a character for this story I had in my mind for a while about these seasonal witches, and she was the fall one, and it's not exactly how that character looked, so I don't know if I would say this is that character, but that's definitely what I was drawing on when I drew this. Adding lots of blush. She looks like she has a rash on her knee, but that's fine. You know, that poison ivy's still out there at the start of fall. Oh, here it is. This is the issues that I had. The washi tape did rip this up a bit, notably in 2 places. Right there. It's a bit painful to watch, I'm sorry. But we're ignoring it. We're moving on, pretending that didn't happen, because it's not like I'm going to scrap this piece over just a few little rips in it, you know? It's never going to be worth it to just scrap a piece for something like that. There actually is another one that you just couldn't see recorded very well, which is why I didn't want to draw attention to it. So comment below if you can find it. Here I'm doing the branches before I decided that they were going to have leaves. I think I kind of like it though that I just did them, because it meant I wasn't really stressing about where leaves were going to go. I just end up painting them in later. And to make the main tree match and also give it a bit more depth, I am adding another layer of this brown color. I actually really love this part. I love just the level of depth that I keep bringing to this, and I think that it's really cool to see how things can just become more complex, and you think that they already looked pretty complex, but then you just add another layer and it's like, oh, it needed that layer. Honestly, it probably might have needed another 2 layers, but I'm human, I get bored. And so I got bored and wanted to move on to something else. I did this whole painting in just a couple of hours. Wasn't a very complex one. I didn't challenge myself too much with the background. Here I am adding some fine details to the outfit, like this, which I should have saved for last, this little design on the shirt, because as I add in this peachy shading color, I do put it over all of that, and it does basically ruin it. But you know, the red is similar to the shading color, so when I do put the shading color over it and smudge it everywhere, which I just did, you can't tell too bad, I don't think. It's not awful. The shading color, I think, is really a very neutral one. Doesn't really draw much attention or, I think, add much of anything to this. So I guess I was just looking for a very low profile shading color. I wasn't trying to add anything to the mood. If anything, I think the line art, which we will see in a moment, is supposed to bring a pop to it. There's the brim of my hat just in the screen. It's a Captain America baseball cap that I bought 5 years ago maybe. And here I am adding all the finishing details, the final layers of the shading, and now it's line art time. I decided to just use some red paint to do the lines. I do like using watercolor as like ink for inking. I think that it usually looks really good. Usually I would do it where I would match the color. When I do it that way, I usually I usually do the line art as I go. If it's all one color though, obviously I'll just wait until the end. I could have probably put this over the design on the shirt to bring it back a little bit, but I didn't think of that at the time. Maybe I will go back and do that now. As if you follow me on Instagram, you will probably have noticed that I do often add more stuff after the videos, because I'll do the commentary and I'll realize something is wrong, or I will just look at it and realize something is wrong. I'm actually afraid that something might be wrong right here because I don't remember. Oh no, there it is. I was supposed to say that I don't remember adding lines to the eyebrows, and obviously those thick eyebrows need lines, but I just saw myself do it. So it's all good. I really love these red lines. I feel like they really make her pop against the background. Initially, she actually popped just a little bit too much, which is why I actually decided to do the red leaves, because I felt like she just looked a little bit pasted in there compared to everything without any red in the background as well. And here I am adding in these red leaves. I actually really love these. I'm really happy with how they came out. Testing doing them kind of two-toned, which definitely did work out. Didn't work out that good on that particular set of leaves though, because I didn't wait for them to dry. So for the rest of these, I do go ahead and make sure to wait for them to dry perfectly. Selecting where to put leaves was a little bit hard because obviously the branches hadn't been like drawn with the idea that I was going to put leaves on them. So some of them it worked, other ones it didn't, and it was about seeking out which ones would make good leaves. I also added a bunch of leaves just falling all around, and some really big ones like close to the viewer covering things. I did those very much in post though, so you'll only see them in the final image. Here I am just filling out all the leaves. I like these ones that overlap. I just love how watercolor looks when you overlap things and you really get to see that transparency and the opacity levels. I'm really happy with how this came out, and here's a good look at how the two-tone leaves look. I think it turned out really good. I'm really happy with this part of the illustration and just how nice the background is. Here it is, the final piece in the sunlight. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you like this video. Thank you again to Nore Piano for the Luna piano covers I used as the background music.